You come with the sword, but I come in the name of the Lord.
When a nation trembled before an impossible enemy, one young shepherd stepped forward with nothing but faith. No armor. No title. No fear greater than his trust in God. In a valley where strength seemed to decide everything, faith changed history. This is the story of courage that trusted God beyond what eyes could see. Long before the battlefield, before the shouting armies, before the giant, there was a shepherd boy in Bethlehem. His father, Jesse, had many sons. Strong sons. Warrior sons. Impressive sons. But the youngest, the overlooked one, was David. He was not raised in palaces. He was formed in quiet fields. Day after day he watched sheep, not a glorious task, but a faithful one. He learned responsibility when no one applauded. He learned courage when danger came silently. Scripture tells us he fought lions and bears to protect the flock. He did not run. He did not abandon what was entrusted to him. Hidden victories built visible faith. In those lonely fields, David learned something deeper than skill. He learned to depend on God when no human help was near. Faith is often trained in private before it is revealed in public. Meanwhile, Israel faced an enemy unlike any before. From the Philistine camp emerged a warrior trained for battle from youth, Goliath. He was not just tall, he was overwhelming. Ancient measurements describe him as over 9 feet tall. His armor alone weighed more than many men could carry. A bronze helmet covered his head. A coat of armor protected his chest. His spear shaft was like a weaver's beam. Even his shield-bearer walked before him. Goliath did not rely only on size, he relied on reputation. He was a champion of war, a symbol of Philistine dominance. He stood in a valley between two armies and offered single combat, a battle that would decide the fate of nations. For 40 days, morning and evening, he mocked Israel. This was psychological warfare. Fear grows when repeated daily. Israel's soldiers were trained, armed, numerous, yet courage drained from them. Even Saul, the tallest among Israel, felt small before the giant. Fear grows when people look at the problem longer than they look at God. Back in Bethlehem, David receives a simple instruction from his father. Take food to your brothers at the battlefield. Check on them. Return with news. Nothing heroic. Nothing dramatic. But obedience often leads to divine appointment. David arrives at the camp just as armies line up for battle. Suddenly the giant steps forward again, voice booming, insults echoing. Something inside David is stirred, not pride, but zeal for God's honor. Where others hear intimidation, David hears defiance against the living God. He asks a question that reveals his heart. Who is this man that he should defy God's people? To fearful ears, David sounds naive. To faithful hearts, he sounds awakened. David is brought before King Saul. Imagine the scene. A young shepherd stands before a troubled king. Dust from the field still on his clothes. No armor. No rank. No reputation. Saul sees weakness. David speaks testimony. He tells how God delivered him from the lion and the bear. Not luck. Not strength. Deliverance. Then he declares, "The Lord who rescued me, will rescue me from this Philistine." Faith is not blind confidence, it is remembered experience with God. Saul, desperate for hope, offers royal armor. The armor is heavy. Impressive. Symbolic of human strength. David tries to walk, but stops. He refuses what looks powerful but is unfamiliar. He chooses what God already trained him to use. Trusting God often means refusing what looks impressive but is not your calling. David walks toward the battlefield alone. Armies watch from hillsides. Wind moves across the valley. Every step increases tension. He carries a staff, a sling, 5 smooth stones, an unshakable trust. Goliath sees him approach, and rage fills the giant. He mocks the boy. He curses him. He predicts his death. But David does not argue, he proclaims, "You come with sword and spear, but I come in the name of the Lord. The battle is the Lord's." This moment is the spiritual climax before the physical battle. Two realities stand facing each other, visible power versus invisible trust. The valley grows quiet, unnaturally quiet. Wind moves through the grass. Dust hangs in the air. Thousands of soldiers hold their breath. On one side stands the towering warrior Goliath, experienced, undefeated. On the other side, a shepherd, David, young and unarmored, carrying only what faith has prepared him to use. The contrast is overwhelming. Goliath advances slowly, each step heavy, deliberate, the confidence of a man who has never lost. His armor plates strike against each other with a metallic echo across the valley. He shouts again, his voice rolling like thunder. To him, this is not a battle, it is an execution. But David does something unexpected. He does not freeze. He does not hesitate. He does not wait for the giant to come closer. He runs forward. This is the turning of the entire story. Faith does not merely stand, it advances. As he runs, he reaches into his shepherd's bag. His fingers close around a smooth stone, shaped by water, prepared by time, chosen with intention. The sling begins to spin. Round and round it moves, faster, tighter, controlled. The sound cuts through the silence like a rising whisper of destiny. Goliath lifts his shield too late. The stone releases. For a moment, time seems to slow. The armies watch the small object fly through the air, a simple stone carrying extraordinary trust. It strikes the only exposed place on the giant's armor, the forehead. Impact. Goliath's movement stops instantly. His balance breaks. The champion of intimidation sways, then crashes to the ground. The sound of his fall echoes across the valley like thunder striking earth. Silence again. No one moves. No one speaks. Then David runs forward and stands over the fallen giant. This is not pride, it is confirmation. The impossible has been defeated not by human strength, but by trust in God. Victory often comes in a moment, but it is prepared over a lifetime of faith. At first, there is shock. Philistine soldiers stare in disbelief. Their champion, their symbol of power, lies motionless. Fear changes sides. What once paralyzed Israel now grips their enemies. Then something extraordinary happens. Courage spreads. Like a fire ignited by a single spark, Israel's army rises with renewed strength. Men who once hid now advance with boldness. The Philistines turn and flee. King Saul watches everything unfold. He had seen David as a boy. Now he sees him as an instrument of God's deliverance. He asks about David's family, wanting to know the origin of such faith. This moment marks a turning point. David moves from hidden shepherd to recognized servant of the nation. Israel's greatest victory that day was not military. It was spiritual. They remembered, God had not abandoned them. Fear had lied to them. Trust had restored them. This is why the story continues to be told across generations. Where faith stands, fear falls. If this story inspired you, support this mission of bringing Scripture to life. Subscribe to Bible Scenes and Stories by Uncle Sajik, like this video, and share it with someone who needs hope today. Stay blessed, and keep walking by faith.